week.
Oh, that's my cue to get the fuck
All
out of
right,
here.
Love
uh,
these
I'll start
motherfuckers.
a room. I'll start a
Bruh.
room, man.
All right, you want to start room? All right,
Why
Yeah,
is this
I'll hop
shit
on.
sound like this?
I might be pretty close to the game. I guess my Xbox is doing like the quick start, like the Series S.
Niggas a
So
lie. But I will
This,
also join the room.
this shit
Just because y'all
sounds
hating on Lovecraft.
hella robotic to me. What is going on? Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it must be my shit then.
yeah, yeah, your stuff might be
Tripping
overheating,
out.
man.
It very well may. I need to see. This is the case for me buying new computer parts and shit. Knowing damn well I don't need to be
All
building no new
right,
computer.
I am what do you call it?
Still.
Muting everybody.
Maintaining my freshness when I binge Lovecraft. So yeah,
And I'm
I will
just
see you
using
in
my
the
PC.
dojo, AJ.
Should I talk about it?
I will take
You
that
s-
invite to the dojo.
So you guys have fun. Let
yeah,
me. I'll watch the stream.
yeah, y'all. All right.
That's awesome. That's
All
awesome.
right.
All right,
So
yeah.
you still looking
Mm,
at 2021 for that 3080?
man,
I was. Interesting enough, they're not going to release the other ones this year, apparently, or not at all, or something like that.
what?
So they have like the 16 gigabyte ones and the 10 gigabyte ones. So they're not going to release,
Mm,
which I found interesting.
All right.
that's what I
Topic
mean.
of the week.
Man, so yeah, I I haven't listened to the podcast yet. But
Yeah,
we
we don't
are
have to.
about to talk about some Lovecraft Country, man. We had we didn't have a podcast like we didn't talk last week. Um, we just played the game, so we got
Yeah.
episodes 9 and the season finale, episode 10,
Yep, yep.
to kind of talk about. Oh shit! I fucking hold up. Let me fix the stream one time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with people not here,
Yeah,
the boxes get all distorted. That
the
makes sense.
boxes. Yeah. All right, hold up.
Oh, this is interesting.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a whole different, whole new
See,
world
they
out
could
here.
have just muted their mics. They over here messing up the swag.
No, I think AJ has to like go to like his gaming stuff is not in the same room. I think is what I understood him saying. But it's all good. I'm gonna just
Oh.
change it right quick and add.
Y'all bear with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Bear with us for technical difficulties.
Boom. Definitely appreciate it. Transform. Boom. All right. So now we're ready. As far as oh man, I episode 9 fucked me up. I didn't. I was not prepared to discuss it last
I
week. So in that
fucking loved
way,
it.
I'm kind of glad that we didn't end up talking about it last week. So I mean, ups and downs for sure. I feel like there was a lot of explanation for like Montrose's trauma and stuff like that, and all
Yeah.
the stuff that kind of formed his experience and framed the way that he ended up
He
treating his
thinks?
son, which is I
Yeah.
mean it's not
Yeah.
an excuse, but
It's
it
not an excuse. It's not, no. Your abuse does not give you the right to give other people more
no,
abuse.
no, not at all. But it was
It's nice
definitely
to
a
know that you also went through that, but it doesn't help shit.
right.
I found it interesting though that the person that saved him, Hippolyta, and not his mom
Hmm.
and
Uncle
what's the
George.
name, Uncle George,
Hmm.
was so the question. So my question is, like I said before about destinies and stuff, were they always destined to end up doing the same as that stuff? Because if he didn't, he wouldn't be alive.
I mean, I would say I don't even think it's destiny necessarily. I think it's more of a matter of like the classic, you know, time travel conundrum. You know what I mean? Like
But
they,
it has to be like to a sense to where so for him to be born means that he went to the past. Like he always heard that story about the mysterious stranger coming to that
yeah.
saved his father's life.
Mhm.
So so when they went back into the past, he talked about how we can't interfere with things. If we
Mhm.
do, it will
Things will be different.
change. Yeah, things will be different. So now when shit, that scared the fuck out of me. When old girl went into the house to to get the book,
Mhm.
what she always meant to, like, they just said everybody in the house. They
Yeah.
didn't say, so they didn't recollect. So if you see this person, like, everybody's supposed to be in the house died, but you see this person walk out of the house, like,
They didn't see nothing. They're dead.
Facts. They didn't see the. And
Right.
I guess what I would say,
No one
um,
can see anything if everyone's dead.
yeah.
that's true.
And they, I don't think it was necessarily destiny. I feel like, but I guess that's one way to put it, right? When you have this like classic time travel, like, it's kind of like this circular reference as like this has to happen in order for her to, like in order for the timeline to progress to the point
Hmm.
where she comes back, all of these things have to happen. And so it's I don't like I said, I don't necessarily think it's destiny. I think it's just a matter of like this is a fucking impossible thing and there's no real way to reconcile it because like I mean if time travel was possible like we'd have an explanation. But the shows do it this way because kind of
Time
like we just
travel is
don't.
possible, but I can't tell
Time
you
travel,
guys my secrets.
I think they
This man.
theorize time travel is possible.
I mean
I
I
just
feel
want to
like
let you
there's
guys know in
definitely
the future, we're all filthy rich.
yeah.
Blur dimension below the national. I'm talking worldwide.
Well, I mean, like
We
that's
have
definitely
talks at Comic Con and everything. Our own TV show on YouTube.
Hey,
Time travel doesn't break any laws of physics.
right.
I mean, I I guess I have to disagree. I mean, like what? So I don't. It's,
What laws of physics does it violate?
um,
Okay.
I would have to look it up again, but like I don't know the names of stuff. I just, I've watched a lot of sci-fi and just nerdy shit. Probably same as y'all, and they are, and I've watched a lot of like how the universe works and I've watched a lot of stuff like that with a lot of physics in it. And so it's like I don't know, I'm not a physicist and I don't know exactly, right? But
Hmm.
I feel like I've had enough exposure to be like, okay, I see why y'all are saying this is not a real thing. But you know what? Let me I'm write that down. I'm gonna look it up time travel. But as far as the episode, with episode 9, with them going back to Tulsa and Montrose being absolutely traumatized and triggered as fuck, and being unhelpful, and they don't like he's not saying anything to them. They don't know that this man is fucking terrified because he's back at this moment in his life that fucking changed. I mean, a lot of things in his life changed him forever, but like, you know what I mean? Like this is a real like he's a teenager and a fucking riot breaks out and white people start fucking killing people. Like it's
They
traumatic.
shot in the head, like,
Right. And so
yeah.
the thing as far as
'Cause
like with Tulsa and with Black Wall Street, like I feel like whenever we kind of start talking about building black and buying black, this is the type of thing that kind of gives me pause about it. Not because I don't think we should try or I don't think it's something that we can do. It's something that we've done, and it's not like a real solution to the injustice and the inequality we face. Like we did it. We did it so many times where we just like built our own stuff and minded our black ass business and like like I said, Black Wall Street wasn't the first one, it wasn't the last one, and but we are always violently removed by white people who feel threatened by like black people just being. And so I don't like we all gotta live under this system, under these systems like white supremacist patriarchal capitalism until it's gone. But looking at us collectively kind of repeating history, it just makes me feel like
We're in a
I don't know
republic.
how we're gonna get peace until this shit is gone, until all of this shit is like toppled down. And it weighs heavily on me like often. I think about this shit a lot. I want us
Well,
to
you
be
brought that
free.
down. Yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah, like not free to, choose how we deal with the unfairness that we're presented with and forced into, but like truly free. And I used to believe in like resegregation until I realized, like, again, like it wasn't a novel idea. Like this is something my people already did and probably did better than could have imagined at that time when I was thinking about it.
yeah.
And I just like I don't know what the answer is for that. Like I can't map a path forward in this moment. And so there's a book that I came across recently. I know it's not a new book, by Angela Davis, and it's called Freedom is a Constant Struggle. And like I after watching this, I feel like I don't think I've ever felt that title more than like watching this episode and like over the past couple years,
The whole
just kind of
season.
watching things
Yeah.
develop to where we are now.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, the shit. Like I said, I was not ready to talk about it last week. I was fucked the fuck up. Um, but it's something I think about. And yeah, oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of two that I found. What? So two things that was my favorite parts of that entire of the last episode.
which.
Um.
Oh, well, hold on. I thought because we're gonna talk about episode 9 first.
Okay. Okay. So well, nine. One thing I liked was how Hippolyta came. Well, one. When D was turned into that fucking demon, I was like, yo, what is like she turned into fucking Melina from fucking Mortal Kombat right now.
That shit was crazy.
Like I was like, yo, that shit, and it's kind and like her arm being like dead and disfigured and shit. I was like, yo, this is. I was like,
Yeah, that shit was
bro,
rough.
it's kind of like that poison that I guess. So maybe I'm digging to it too a little bit too much, but like it's that aspect of like that slow poison of negativity, stereotypes, tropes, all that stuff building
Mm.
up, especially for what a kid has to experience, right?
Mhm.
So like what they soak it up a lot more, they soak it up a lot faster. So like to see how she was changing rapidly into a being that
Beautiful.
is depicted as like a stereotypical like black like minstrel like look,
Mhm.
like nappy hair, red lips,
Mhm.
you know, looking a hot mess or whatever, and to see that she was changing so fast from this girl who was a drawer, artist, a thinker, like
Right.
I'm like that's crazy. And when I was talking to a girl about this, I was saying how like all the tropes that even from after when the cop was trying to repair himself
Mhm.
after he got sliced up by that damn
That was satisfying. I couldn't wait for that motherfucker to die.
was
I'm gonna
so
be honest.
satisfying. I was like, yes, this motherfucker's finally dead. And then when I saw him, I was like, wait, how the fuck is he alive? And he's alive by other black people's body parts.
Yep.
And they were cutting him up. And I'm like, damn, that's ain't that some shit. Like, um, it's kind of like on the trope of Get Out,
Mm.
where um where the where the white
Yep.
man or white people were trying to put their minds into black bodies
Mhm.
because better features. They were, you know,
Stronger, younger.
younger, faster, could draw better, could do more things. I'm like, yo, I was like, well, Jordan Peele was the. I was like, I wonder what if he was trying to get that little Easter egg trope back
Mm.
to it, and it was showing like as much as he tried to change his body or adapt his body to be black, it didn't. It wouldn't repair it. He's like, why am I not repairing? This worked before, and he's like, and Christina was like, well, it may have worked before, but it won't last forever. And so I'm like, damn. So that's kind of like people always trying to be, oh, I want to, trying to be black or whatever, trying to, because truthfully, and I'll talk about this later on in episode 10. Truthfully, we are a phenom. We are a phenomenon of culture, of rich culture that we bring. We always take stuff and make it to where everybody wants to do it, whether it be music, dance, fashion, sports, everything. And it kind of showed that, like she said, it doesn't last forever. Like you can try to be somebody else as much as possible, but it's not gonna last forever because yourself is gonna come out. Your true
Mm.
self is gonna come out eventually. So I may be digging a little bit far, but like that's what I'm seeing. That's what I like about the show is that it's making you think about all the different tropes that happen in society. That you like, well, shit. Like, am I a part of the problem, or am I trying to solve this problem, so to speak? So, but yeah, but there's some other juicy stuff I want to talk about episode 10.
Word.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's all I had for 9.
Nah. What you got for episode 9, Carl?
Um, so so I I guess more about what you said,
Hmm.
um, like we've tried it before and we saw what happened, what they did to Tulsa and stuff like that. Um, uh, so you do need to buy bank black, all that, but if you do that without a connection back to the continent, I don't think that will ever work. So I think this is something me and AJ talk about a lot, but because of the cultural prominence of hate saying African American, but let's just say that African American and the financial power that they have compared to most black people around the world,
Hmm.
um, Africa needs black Americans.
Right.
Now, to a similar degree, black Americans need Africa to completely reestablish their identity. So I
Hmm.
feel like if black people are just like, you know what, we're just going to develop black excellence here, and there's no sort of global outreach and uplift of black people globally. I just don't think that's sustainable because, you know, yes, we're Americans out here, but not be confused, you're behind enemy lines. So you need to be connected to your home. Like you don't have to
Mhm.
live there, you don't have to
But
claim
you have to be
citizenship
connected.
there, but you have to be connected. And
I
if
agree.
Africa continues to be weak, black people everywhere will continue to be weak.
Mm.
So I think the education and the money is a component, but you got to reconnect to that land. Um, and me personally, I'm Jamaican. I feel like not enough Jamaican and Caribbean people at large um, keep that in mind because the countries they're from are primarily black, so they mistakenly think they don't have to,
Mm.
right? I'm like, we're the majority where we're from, we kind of run things. I'm like, okay, that's true. And there's definitely advantages to that. Like, knowing what I was born in Jamaica and then coming here, there's some advantages.
Right.
Trust me. But you know what? Um, it's still third world there. Oh yeah, it's still third world. There's still a lot that you're lacking being the average citizen in Jamaica or the Caribbean.
Hmm.
And so no matter where in the world you're from, you need to get back connected to Africa and make it part of your mission to uh, free Africa. Africa isn't free, and now Africa is kind of under siege by China, as is the rest of the world, and the Caribbean as well. But so I agree. If we repeat it and don't connect back, um, I agree. It'll happen again. You'll build it all up, and maybe it won't the same exact way, but um, I don't think it'll be sustainable if it's not connected back.
Hmm. Um, I guess for me, I don't uh like what is that? What does that connection look like? And like I guess I just
Exactly.
have a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
questions about that, especially when like diasporically, right?
Mhm.
Continental Africans don't like black Americans. Like they've ingested that same poison that white supremacy has fed everybody about black
Yeah.
Americans being lazy, black Americans being, thieves, black Americans being, X, Y, and Z, all type of negative stereotypes and stuff like that. And I mean, they've drank from that same well. And so I feel like we have a lot of there's a lot of work to be done before we can do anything meaningful together. And all like
Like
I
like what? Like what? What do you say? So first of all, I agree that there's some hostility, and it's not just Africa. The Caribbean as well. They feel some type of way.
yeah.
Um, right? But what, that being said, what do you think needs to be done prior to that?
I feel like, but number one, we have to break down that stereotypical the stereotypical way that that we relate to each other, like as far as uh like all the preconceived notions and the ways
Mhm.
that they treat us based on that. So that I feel like
Because
that's
they get
part.
it too now. When they come here, they get it too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um so yeah, I mean it's I mean, and I don't say that to say like it's one way. I just say that
Mhm.
to say like we need to like before there can be any cooperation there has to be some, you know,
Give and
uh
take.
yeah, some empathy, some working out of generational and continental trauma and shit before we can like
You know.
make a meaningful connection. Um and yeah, like I don't know. It's I guess for me also being somebody who was born and raised here,
Mhm.
I don't know, like Africa does not feel like home to me.
Hmm.
Um
Mhm.
I like all of my people, everybody that I know was born and raised here. My great
Mhm.
grandmother, her mother, like all of those people. I mean a lot of black people say that, but like I think one of my great grandmother's parents was like native, and then but the other one would have been black, and then my great grandmother was half, and she had a black husband, and so on and so forth, and like um I don't know how to kind of bridge that gap for Black Americans. Like at this point, we're one, two, three, like 5 generations into to being American. And I don't know what it
Mhm.
looks like to have a meaningful connection to the African continent and to the places that our people came from. Um, and I feel like that's something else that would need to be worked out, especially since like you know what I mean, like people still live there. It's not like Africa is empty, and we would go back and like you can't. I feel like I don't have somewhere to go back to. Like I can't just go over there colonizing shit,
You
trying to
don't.
claim shit. You know what I mean? Like, and so I that like those are things to me that I think about a lot that I don't have answers for, but I feel like we need
And
to cooperate on
mhm.
before we can start talking about some larger efforts.
So I feel like in traumatic situations,
Mhm.
um, there's no there's no right way to do it,
Mhm.
and I feel like somebody's gonna have to take the L a little bit. So in my mind, so and each side will take a L in a different way.
Mhm.
So, for example, um, President of Ghana, I think um, 2019, uh, year of the return, right? In
Mhm.
400 years.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I think 2019 was the year of the return in Ghana. So they had some program where if you're from America or the UK or just outside of the continent, you come back and there's some incentives to do that. And they say come
Mhm.
back. Who knows if you're actually from Ghana, right? You
Right.
probably need to do some DNA tests, and that tells you your people, but that doesn't necessarily tell you where you're really from. Whatever. You do your best you can.
Right.
So, so in a sense, they could take an L that way. It's an L because they're not America. They don't have a lot of money, but they're
Right.
spending money that they are could be allocating to their citizens to ask for people to come back to 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 use their talents, energies, and resources to reinvigorate. Americans have to take the L, and I'm saying specifically Americans because they're the richest black people,
Right.
right? They have to take the L. I'm like, man, they don't want us over there. You're right, they sure don't.
Mhm.
But what you gonna do?
Right.
Um, you gotta. So I believe you gotta take the L. Come over there, spend your money.
Mhm.
Spend your money doing what? Starting companies, investing in companies. And to be honest with you, I think that's the start is commerce, right?
Mhm.
The start is commerce, and that gets you talking. At least that gets you talking in a legal framework,
Mhm.
uh, and then you have that initial connection, matters of the heart and trauma, and you know really reintegrating can maybe happen in a more organic way, but
Mhm.
it would probably start out in a formal way, and that's usually commerce. So, um, I think I've talked to you sort of not on
A
this
little
chat,
bit.
but before about like the startup that I want to do, right?
Mhm.
So I've wanted to go to Africa, like that's a main spot.
Mhm.
Mainly because yes, I do think it'll be helpful, but you know, I happen to be a Pan African type of believer,
Mhm.
and my thought is it would be great to get rid of all the countries in Africa and have an African country and uh, create a similar thing to the eurozone where you have at least a united currency. A
Mhm.
united currency would absolutely change the game for
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Africa. So um,
And
that's where
See,
my mind is at.
right,
Like, uh, you want to deal with the trauma as soon as possible.
for sure.
Uh, but I don't
You don't
like
think it's
how. Like you
necessarily
can't.
foundational?
It can't be. I don't see how it could be, right?
Mm,
Because first of all, it's so individual. Because you're like me. I want to go back there. I think of myself as Jamaican. I
mm,
think of myself in a smaller measure as American. I
mm,
really think of myself as Jamaican. But then I understand, like, okay, well, where did you really come from? And you always hear about these stories of people going back to Africa. And it's like, oh
yeah,
my gosh, it's crazy, whatever. And I'm sure that's the case, but like just like you said, where the heck do you start? How do you know where you're actually from? The continent is huge, right? It's not like it's
yep.
a country. It's a humongous land. Where are you in there? You can take a DNA test, and they'll tell you, okay, your greatest percentage is in this area. Okay, cool. Are you really from there? Who knows? But you go there, you talk to some people, you hang out. You gonna meet family? Probably not. Like, so I think it's just purely a leap of faith,
Mm,
and the goal is to create new family, an extended family that is as large as the continent. And I think that's what's necessary for survival. I don't think it's a nice to have. Um, it's necessary for sustainable freedom.
mm. And I hear you.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Um, and I think there's definitely a wider conversation to be had with regard to that. And we can link and discuss it some more. But I want to
Mhm.
bring it back to Lovecraft right quick so we can wrap up the podcast. So for episode 10, man, what so many things happened in the season finale for Lovecraft Country. I don't even know where to start. What's up,
I
JK? You
do.
look like you got something on your mind.
I do. I know where to start. Oh, you still haven't learned your lesson. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. She said she rolled up in there like she was hot. She was like, oh, the party's over? Yeah, I'm talking about D. The
Yeah,
fucking sap. She said, oh. She's like, D, help.
right.
Please. She's like, oh, you still haven't learned your fucking lesson, huh? Let me educate you real quick.
That
Dead.
shit was wild.
Boy,
I didn't expect that.
she said, she terminated her ass like she was
She
fucking
did.
That
boy.
was
She was
intense.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in this motherfucker. She said, "Oh, shall I let you live? Nah, all you hear is a I was like, boy, she did a fatality, Mortal Kombat style.
She did.
Boy,
Oh man, the whole episode. Like, so the shit with Ruby, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't see her. I thought she was just gonna kill her. I didn't know she was gonna transform into her, go up here trying to fool him and shit.
I knew something was off in the cemetery. I was like, no, when they were about to go on the trip,
Hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, I was like, wait, that bar wasn't full when she had it.
Oh, you mean back
That
at the lab? No, I wasn't.
that bar wasn't full.
No, I
I was
wasn't.
like,
You right.
what is that? I was like, okay. And then like when she started doing the little symbols and shit, and she started talking, and then she mentioned, um, she's like, I really appreciate you in the sense. She's like, yeah, what are families for? Or some shit. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Christina.
I
That's
mean, that's
Christina.
what Letty knew too. But yeah, but it was like her talking about I finally understand the pull of family or some shit like that
Yeah.
after the conversation that they had in the cemetery. Like, come on.
She's like, yeah. She's like, she's like, yeah. She got too close. I had to kill her. I was like, why they kill the strong sister? Why they gotta kill her? But
Uh,
but one thing that I found interesting, two things I found interesting is that the beast that they summoned
Mhm.
was 3 times bigger than Christina's.
And it was black. I don't
And
know what's
black.
up with none of that.
And it was
This nigga called childish.
and, and on top of that, so I was talking to another somebody else about this,
Mm,
and I was like, so I wonder if those beings, so they are summoned by the person, whoever they're summoned by a person, right?
yeah,
So Christina summoned the lot of hers, and Tick and
D.
his his dad summoned that one.
Yeah. Well, you know what I will say. I don't think they summoned it. I think the protection spell that they use isn't like a physical invulnerability. It's like to be protected by the Shogun.
Right. So like but they still had to summon. Like it was
Yeah, they
it was
still
like
had to
a
do the.
binding contract. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
binding contract
for
for
sure.
sure.
By the way,
But
speaking of that, how did what's her name? How did Letty get the invulnerability again?
uh,
Christina did
the
the spell
she,
before she hit the ground.
yeah,
They like circle back to it. I guess she wanted to keep her promise to Ruby or whatever. But she like did the spell. Yep.
yeah. And so
Interesting.
when she threw her off, she was like, "Fuck," and then
Right. And then.
fell. So because it was either that or I was thinking the baby did it,
Mm.
or the ancestors did it before they.
Oh, I mean, I
Before
guess that's possible.
they did it. But so about the show the I call them the vampires, but the so I was thinking like that contract is
Mhm.
reflecting of the person.
Mhm.
So like if Christina was white, so it was smaller or whatever, and the black one was Tit, it was 3 times bigger. It took on all of them and killed all of them like
Mhm.
easily. And so I wonder if that's like personification of like a black male supposed to be this alpha male, strong type person that an embodiment of a summoning of a monster that's a personification of that person who's black. It would be that type of. It would look like that because it almost looked like a Cerberus, so to speak, for D. Like it's
Mhm.
almost like D's pet now,
Mhm.
and so that's that. And then on top of that, um, uh, was oh, so when D killed. So one thing that blew my mind is
Mhm.
when uh uh not Ruby, what's her name? Oh shoot, I keep forgetting her
Are
name.
you talking about Letty or
Letty.
are you talking about?
Teddy, that's it. I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm thinking Teddy every time I think of her. Um, but when she said, when Christina said, "You binded my magic," she's like, "Not just your magic. Every white person on earth can't use magic no more." And I was like, "Oh!" They took it back. I was like, "Okay,
Right.
okay, okay." And so
Yes,
like, it kind of
that was
reminded,
intense.
kind of brought to the point of like after slavery, black people their had to take back a lot. So going back to taking things, and black people have revitalized it to where everybody wants to do it. So dance, fashion, sports, and all that. It's kind of that personification of magic is something that we've learned about in storybooks or whatever, but we didn't have any knowledge of. But a few people were able to take it back from traditional hands of white people. I was like, that's interesting. So, and then on top of that, when Christina was killed by D, it was like black people killing white supremacy, and Christina was the quote unquote personification of white supremacy. And them taking back magic and killing Christina was the the straw of, okay, black people are not going to prosper even more now because they've killed somebody who's a quote unquote behind the scenes family, so to speak, that controls shit. So that's why I found it very interesting. I don't know if that's true. I didn't listen to the podcast, but to me, that's what it looks like. That's what
Mm.
it kind of looked like in the last episode, and how the episode's called Full Circle. It was very interesting how like all the things that they went through really did come in a full circle in a
Mhm.
sense of, you know, they say, "Oh, well, Tick, you're gonna die." Tick's like, "You don't know that. You know, that's just one. That's just one possible outcome."
Right.
But he knew Tick was gonna die. So, or he knew that he was gonna die. So, and then recruiting the Korean Fox Spirit,
Mhm.
saying that, you
Kunio.
know, they're all family. I was like, huh. Yeah, they're all kind of sort of family. Like Hippolyta was that time traveler, sort of uh, time traveler, multi-dimensional being. That she was destined to be. The Fox Spirit is destined to see more death after seeing Tick die, basically. So her life was never gonna end until like so basically I think like she's gonna be like the auntie to George, basically, so to speak, because they're gonna like be they're family now. They all been bonded through this experience, so like they're gonna take care of the lady's baby, and she's gonna be like the auntie who's like kind of training him to and to get telling him stories, and that's how the story is gonna unfold in the book. So so it's kind of like a full circle of sense of not only the story but karma in a sense,
Mm.
because they because Christina always wanted to, you know, get immortality,
Yeah.
but yet she gained it, but yet she got it stripped away and end up dying anyway.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So
That's true.
so
I
yeah,
mean,
so yeah, it's just a lot of shit to unpack. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. The episode 10 was action packed. I didn't expect Tick to die. Honestly, I definitely expected like the twist to be that he lived somehow. I mean, it was still a hellified twist. I didn't expect them to, like, once they got to the point where she had got the immortality, I was like, oh fuck, there's about to be a cliffhanger. There's
Oh,
not gonna be
it's
any
over.
resolution of this tonight. Yeah.
It's over.
Um. Yeah. And so then for Letty to come back and then start, like, it was just, man, whoa. It went really fast once after that point, and then like everybody kind of had a part to play in
Yeah,
uh bringing about like the end of Christina's very short immortal reign. And it was interesting to see. And then her, like, I don't know, I'm confused about what she expected from Dee, like begging for her help and everything. And
right.
it's like, you been terrorizing my family for who knows how long.
Your
You killed my cousin brother. Like, you said what?
yeah, your quote unquote buddy, and who's a part of your damn society, cursed me
Right,
and made me lose my arm.
right, right, right. And I mean, she got an arguably maybe better arm now, but like, I, I would like, what are you, what kind of, and that's like the type of audacity of white people that I just don't be under. Like, what the fuck are you expecting from me? Like, you've brought all this like terrible shit to my family and to my life, and then you up here got the nerve to ask me for some fucking help. Like, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be, but that shit is always crazy to me.
I agree, and that's why I was like, it's fucked up because we're expected to take the high road on shit,
Mhm.
and that's why like, well, all the shit going on now, like people are like, oh, why are you you guys like rioting, or I'm like, we're not rioting. Other like, there's people who are, but it's not necessarily us. But like, what the fuck you expect? We fed up with this shit,
Yeah, basically.
and you expect us to take the high road all the time,
Like
and every
how?
time, and we take the high road every time, and this bullshit keep happening. This
Keep
bullshit keeps
fucking
happening.
happening.
So when we finally want to fight back and shit, we terror, and then now y'all terrorizing, bro. But y'all been terrorizing us for generations, and
Facts.
when we fed up with that shit, just like what happened in Haiti, they were fed up with that shit. They revolted,
Mm-hmm.
killed all the slave masters, killed all the motherfuckers, and they
Yep.
said, hey, if you want to be with us, we don't care if you're super light or white, whatever. You can be Haitian, but you better. We won't kill you. You just better be down for the cause. If you're down for the cause, we won't kill you. If you aren't, your ass getting chopped up.
Yeah.
And
Go
it's
ahead.
that whole episode, I was like, bro, this is literally like personification of black people fighting back. And they're like, hey, we
Mm-hmm.
done. We
That's it.
done with
Like,
it.
that's facts.
And yeah, and that's why I was like, bro, if Lovecraft Country don't win some type of award,
That'd be
like,
crazy. I mean, I kind of expect it, because the academy, all of them institutions are white as hell, and I feel like this is not a show, and especially the podcast. Like I've read some of the reviews where white people are complaining about it, make the podcast kind of and or maybe the show kind of makes them feel like shit. Um,
good. Fuck. That's the whole point. Well, not really. That's not the whole point. But like,
yeah, you said that's the whole point, and so I don't know if I expect them to give it an award, but it definitely deserves one after this shit.
bruh, yeah. I just go ahead, Carl. You
So,
had something. You want to say something, Carl?
yes, I was just gonna say, technically, Christina didn't curse D. I was the sheriff, and then
Right. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like she. So it was the sheriff, but she deemed like Christina has been terrorizing her family.
mm-hmm.
So like by association, because you've been quote unquote not working with him, but like
Mhm.
you were
Part of
conspiring.
your same kind of organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so like she was like, "Yo, you gotta go too. Like we took care. The sheriff gone. You gotta go. Like I don't
Basically.
care if you are Tick's blood or whatever. Like you gotta go."
Yeah.
I just find it funny when the Titus was like, "Those blah 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 have the book," and then
Yeah. That shit was
and then
crazy.
he carved that man up like a sliced turkey. I was like, "Good
Bruh,
God."
oh my god.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I was throwing up my mouth when you had to like chew that thing
Never
like it
eating
was.
ham again.
Yeah, bro.
Mm.
Steak. I was like, oh God, no.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
like,
terrible. That was Alright. You got anything else for us, Carl, for episode 10? I definitely thought you could unmute yourself. My bad.
No, I can't unmute myself.
I was like, what?
I'm not an admin, so I can't do it.
What?
that's
How
not
you
true.
what? Yeah, that's not true. But it's okay. We can work it out. Anything else for episode 10? We can show you how to do it.
Um,
I mean, I'm pretty empty
I'm
on
just
it. You guys
I'm just
covered all the
glad.
bases.
What's
Gotcha.
that?
Oh, Tech was saying we covered all the bases as far as his perspective and the stuff he
Yeah,
might have wanted.
I guess I'm have a forward-looking sort of question. Like, where do you go from here? It seemed
Mhm.
like Tick was such a central person,
Yeah.
character to
Hmm.
all this story. And I would imagine, in a season two, that George is too young to be that central unless they do like a flash forward type of thing or something like that.
Right.
Mm.
So I wonder, like, what direction are they going to take? Is they going to be more development on Aracia Blue? Is it going to be, um, Letty's development as a witch or a sorceress or whatever you want to call it, right?
Mhm.
Because I would imagine this is just the tip of the iceberg for her. She has some protection. She's gonna grow. If white people don't have magic anymore,
Mhm.
so I would imagine there's a sense of, okay, well, we've got to now empower, right? We got to
Yep.
maybe form an organization and whatever. Like, so I'm very curious um, what the next season is going to be.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
And so, like, real quick, so the first two episodes I told you, like, it felt like an entire season in and of itself,
Yeah.
and they were
yeah,
able to go so much more. And the way it ended, it seemed like you could put a bow on the whole thing, and like Lovecraft Country is done potentially.
Yep.
Uh, so that's just like, dude, how do they keep adding? And it makes total sense, and of course it keeps going. So I'm very, very, very interested in what's going to be happening next season.
yeah, because it was very seamless. And
Yeah.
truthfully, I don't think Tick is dead. I think he's gonna get resurrected somehow, some way.
Mm.
I don't. But on top of that, um, as far as Letty being the keeper of the book and her learning how to use magic now, I wonder if she's gonna be able to not only resurrect Tick but resurrect Ruby as well.
I would imagine she's very interested in accomplishing that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I would think Tick is probably going to be in the ancestral plane, so she should be able to go and visit him from time to time. So I'd imagine you're going to still see him. It's just a question: are you going? How much time, if any, is he going to be outside of that ancestral plane?
Right.
Right.
Come back.
And how
And,
central to the story, like what kind of part is he gonna play?
Exactly.
right.
So
So I think what would be interesting is for season two is that so another I'm interested in two things and I'll stop. Since Letty and the group took back magic, right? So
Mhm.
that white can't use it. Do you think that if that's during the time of Emmett Till? Emmett Till was like what 1930s,
No, it was
20s,
1920s,
20. I think it was 21 because that happened
21, right? Okay.
right when the show's happening.
Okay. So do you think with the help of magic that's the way of like the civil rights movement, all this other stuff to get
Or is
black
it
people?
50s? 40s or 50s? My bad.
it's the
40s or
50s.
50s.
Yeah, I
Okay.
Mhm.
was
So
55
Okay.
for Emmett Till.
Mhm.
okay. So do you think with um them taking back magic that
Mhm.
a lot of like pretty much taking back the power basically, are they gonna utilize that power to start like in the background scenes of the civil rights movement and getting rights and like I'm just it's a theory. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
it's but like since they took because like Christina and the that whole organization was basically like ruling not ruling but like they had their hands on a lot of stuff that was going on or whatever. So I wonder if with black people obtaining magic, is she gonna teach others? And
Mhm.
then two, is that gonna incite more of black power, uh, black power, black black excellence, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So so that's what I think be interesting. And two, I think it would be interesting if they had it to where instead of like Tick died, they still have the family members, whatever, but it just follows D and the follows D and then like probably a young George like
Mhm.
growing up and then the protector basically that is like her companion
Mm-hmm.
almost. I think that'd be an interesting spinoff or an interesting second season to like focus more on D now and see how she goes through her trials and tribulations as growing up with a robotic arm,
Mm-hmm.
growing up as a black woman in the 1960s, and going further on and so. So I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's I
There's
guess
a,
we'll see
there's a
what
lot,
they do.
yeah, there's a lot of open ground because even Hippolyta could teach her how to go into, to travel multi dimensions.
That
Mm-hmm.
could be a spinoff.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
could be.
that could be a
Yeah,
spin-off itself.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
All right,
but yeah,
man. We're
that's all.
going. All right, but I'll